All right, welcome back. The light has changed, so the angle is a little bit different. And I think I've pretty much decided that we're not going to do these lives like this anymore because the conditions in here are just a little bit too unpredictable. And I really liked the structured presentation that I gave you last time. It allows you to just sort of like see what's happening on the screen and listen to me talk in a way that it doesn't matter if there's a visual lag. And I think that was a lot more comfortable for me, which means that now what I want to do is I want to build more in-depth presentations that will be relevant to you all. And so, as always, if you have questions, if you have feedback, all of that is really valuable to me, and it helps this work better when there's participation and when we're stirring things up like that. So for today, briefly, there will be forthcoming announcements about my 2026 group offerings. They're coming, they're happening, I promise. Thank you so much to everyone who's receiving this. Thank you to my Patreon supporters for continuing to support me and help me grow this. And what I want to share with you today is something quick and easy to play with through this season that we've entered, where there's just a lot of, I think, sitting around, going to dinners, going to events, going to recitals and concerts and things like that, and to be contained in your body in these public places. I like having something to do with my hands. So I want to show you two items. You've seen me play with these before. So this is a squeeze, and it came in a set, and there's a variety of weights as far as like how challenging is it. And then this is one to spread and strengthen that extension direction. And I hope you can still see me as I have navigated over to another tab. The article that I'm looking at right now was published in 2024. So this is really recently, although we discussed this when I was in PT school. I graduated PT school in 2019. This idea of grip strength as a vital sign. And I'm just going to read for you briefly so that you can kind of appreciate the significance of this with me. That hand grip strength holds an important connection to overall wellness. Keywords used in this article: hand grip strength, muscle strength, sarcopenia, osteosarcopenia, which is sort of like age-related shrinkage of muscle tissue and bone tissue. This idea of health biomarker, something measurable that we can look at in order to make assessments about things like frailty. And I'll link this particular article that I'm looking at in the description below, but this is certainly not the only one. So let's imagine that grip strength is something that we can objectively assess to give us information over the lifespan about an individual's overall resilience level. That their bones have integrity, that their muscles are healthy at the cellular level. How hard is it to open a pickle jar? And then what we can also do is stack this grip movement with movement at the wrist, with extension throughout the rest of the upper body, through the extremity, through the shoulder, through the ribs. Breathing into new space, new capacity. Exhaling into gravity always, so that the brain and the nervous system and the fascia are all working together to learn this skill as such. And what I'm going to add to this is that it's equally important to work into the opposite direction. So flexion is the grip, is the fist, fist equals flexion, and then extension is opening, is activating along the back of the wrist here, opening through the carpal tunnel. And to open the hand, the palm, creating intentional space in the palm opens that carpal tunnel. Who has carpal tunnel things? Whose hands go numb at night when you fall asleep like that? Whose hands feel stiff and fatigued by the end of the day, working on a computer, occupational things are part of this. What are your hands doing all day long? Most of us are gripping and squeezing and holding a lot more than we're opening and extending away. And in the same way, stacking, I'm opening here, opening at the periphery, mobilizing, maintaining that openness, mobilizing all the way through the extremity, all the way through the breath, allowing this active movement, this task, to touch and be touched by what's happening in the core, the breath, the awareness, the intention and consciousness and executive function, and allowing all of those things to coexist on purpose, here and now. And if you do those kinds of exercises for a few minutes every single day, research suggests that you'll actually live longer. Is that a reason to do something every day? On the board behind me, you can see the word rest. Deep rest is what it actually says, especially going into wintertime. That's a theme. And underneath that is a Hawaiian word, ho'oponopono, which is basically a loving kindness meditation for repairing relationship. Those were some of the themes that came up in here over the course of this week. Ho'oponopono is, there are entire books that have been written about it. There are other YouTube channels that are probably totally dedicated to that one thing. And so if you feel curious to learn more about that, then I would encourage you to explore it. But it's just a lovely sort of repetitive mantra to do in meditation to help bring in some of that loving kindness sensation in the body. And I think it's really powerful. It feels good to be able to open your own pickle jars. Or whatever. Breathe in, find space, exhale, settle into gravity, and Notice the sensation of that is tangible, that is solid. Your bones are solid, essentially. Feel the solid. Feel the space. Feel the solid. Feel the space. Oscillate curiously. And then do it again tomorrow. That's how we create regulation, is we oscillate. And then over time, we establish homeostasis, baseline. Every single breath participates in this. That's what heart rate variability is all about as a biometric. Every time we breathe in, our heart speeds up a little bit. Every time we breathe out, our heart rate slows down a little bit. And so every breath in is this little micro calibration. Every breath out is this little micro calibration of what the autonomic system, or where the autonomic system is living. What's normal? What's to be expected here? It's a technology. It's a mechanism. And it feels better, generally speaking, when we can breathe easily and we can do what we need to do in the world. So let's do all of that. And if you have questions or you want help with it, I'm easy to get in touch with. So I'm going to leave it at that for today. And I'll see you soon. Thank you.